Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, all U.S. Constitution protects all lives matter members. And good afternoon to our dear President, Donald J. Trump and J.D. Vance. So many people today keep browbeating Donald J. Trump. Well, Donald J. Trump did what every president in the past should have done. Go into Iran. Everybody knows that. Once they took the hostages, we should have took action immediately. This was the only president who had the heart and soul to go in and protect the rights of every human being. Fortifying and funding terrorism, both foreign and domestic, is against the U.S. Constitution. And October 4th, we will address that about the domestic terrorism in Columbus Park on Mulberry and Word Street. October 4th, October is the month of Christopher Columbus, the person who charted and circumnavigated the world and made it to America. And remember one thing, ladies and gentlemen. America was named after Amerigo Vespucci, an Italian individual who also is a world mariner. This is proof beyond a reasonable doubt that the Italians and the Italian Americans today are being discriminated against and have been always discriminated against by both the white Anglo-Saxon Protestants because of their Roman Catholic faith, and these individuals who choose to work as rogue agents loyal to Barack Hussein Obama and the Black Lives Matter movement. These are domestic terrorists. These people will be brought down. These people are sandbagging cases of targeted people. Just like my cases in the Southern District of New York and Second Circuit and the Middle District of Pennsylvania. The very place where Joe Biden's roots are. The very place where Auschwitz of America is located in White Deer, PA, in the heart of individual fatherland people who came from Germany, people who came from other parts of the world and settled there and have made an enclave of hatred towards the Italian American people. This is why they dismantled the Italian American communities, because the strength that it had showed. It wasn't like the ghettos that the Nazis allowed their capos to scurry around in, because who were the capos? Were Jewish people that were rats. They worked undercover like the rogue agents work undercover for Barack Hussein Obama and Black Lives Matter movement, who are striving to overthrow the United States Constitution and the United States government by brainwashing people. Again, ladies and gentlemen, today I was on the phone with a Court of Appeals clerk not connected with the alleged case management team. The only thing that he seen was some improprieties, stuff that the individual assigned as a case manager, a Spanish person, said, "Oh, there's nothing wrong with them. They're defected." Well, ladies and gentlemen, I asked her, when did certain rules change in the court, and when did Congress change certain rules? She could not say, "Oh, it's always been like that." No, it hasn't. So again, ladies and gentlemen, we'll call upon everybody October 4th in Columbus Park, Mulberry and Word Street, to kick off the Italian American Month and the rebirth and refortification of the U.S. Constitution. And the reason why we picked that, Columbus Park, is not only it's named after Christopher Columbus, it encompasses the perimeter that is heavily cambered. It encompasses the perimeter of 2 state courts, New York State Court of Appeals, New York State regular Supreme Court, federal court. In the back of that is City Hall, where the communist regime run by Mamdani, whatever his name is, or is that his real name? We do not know. So therefore, ladies and gentlemen, we will send a message out to not only them, but to 1 St. Andrew's Plaza, where some of the rogue assistant U.S. attorneys still lurk and look to undermine the United States Constitution, look to undermine Donald J. Trump, look to undermine J.D. Vance, our vice president, and look to undermine everything about the American way. When you pledge allegiance to that flag, you don't pledge allegiance to be a fag. You don't pledge allegiance to be a lesbian. You pledge allegiance as a man or woman loyal to their country. You pledge allegiance to that flag to protect the rights of your children. You pledge allegiance to that flag because under God, invincible, and the American way. And the American way is 7th and 14th Amendment, ladies and gentlemen, of the U.S. Constitution, which enables you to aver documents in your favor, which is the 5th and 6th Amendment, and also not to be illegally detained or illegal intrusion, which happens with the roving bug. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, since the roving bug was used and is inserted in people who take surgical procedures like arthroscopes and colonoscopies while they're under anesthesia by contracts of Muncie Regional Medical Center at Auschwitz, USA, but better known as FCC Allenwood, you will see that these individuals who lurk in the warden's office, who lurk in the records office, are using COINTELPRO and Project M to lengthen people's sentences that are targeted, and they're later brainwashed into believing something totally different. They are targeted by guards who are told by the FBI, SIA, rogue agents to utilize every means necessary to deter this individual from being released if he is targeted. Just like Kevin Rizzoli was targeted. Just like Gaetano Badalamenti was targeted. Just like Francesco Gambino was targeted. Fato Bartolotta and others early on. Dominic D'Agostino, Anthony Salerno, and others, who Dominic D'Agostino, on the morning of his compassionate release, they said big globs of skin were coming off because he was hit with such a dose of radiation the day before. Can you imagine, ladies and gentlemen? That is out and outright murder. But this is what they did to the Italian American people. This is what Obama later on authorized FCC Allenwood and other places to be used. So therefore, ladies and gentlemen, I again ask the UN treaty surgeons to conduct a surgical evaluation, and also the United States Navy, in which I was a member of at one time and served overseas with. Thank you very much. And remember one thing, the permits are still pending approval by the City of New York's Parks Department and the Fire Department. On October 4th, we just say, have a nice, quiet day. Bring your American flag and bring peaceful thoughts in mind. Thank you very much. We will see you hopefully on October 4th at 10 a.m. in Columbus Park on Mulberry and Worth Street in New York City, right behind the courthouse and right behind St. Andrew's Plaza, the U.S. Attorney's Office. Thank you very much.